Welcome back to the channel.
Are you ready to hear how we rate Buenos Aires after spending a month there?
Hopefully you watched our preliminary video about Buenos Aires, where we talked about our experience there and went into all the things we did and what we thought about the city. But in this video, we apply our formal scoring system to see if it could become one of our permanent 3-month rotating home bases. My name is Rick.
And I'm Stacy.
And this is Finding My Retirement. The first part of our system goes with the pass-fail categories. These are things that have to pass or the city is off the list regardless of how we like it. And those are safety, weather, cost of living, and available health care. So let's start with safety. We talked about this in detail in our preliminary video, but overall, Buenos Aires has some real safety concerns. But in the areas we were in, it felt pretty darn safe.
Yeah.
We walked around during the day, we walked around at night. I didn't have any security concerns. I never felt uncomfortable. How about you?
No, I never felt weird. I never thought that, oh, I shouldn't go out tonight.
Now, I think the city is broken into areas where you visit during the day and areas where you might live.
Yeah.
Some of the places we visited are not places we would live due to safety issues, but where we were kind of stuck between Recoleta and Palermo Soho in an area called Palermo Crispo, it was very nice and easily walkable and felt very safe day or night. So I'm ready to give a safety rating. How about you?
Yep.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, thumbs up. Okay, the second thing was weather. And this is an interesting one. We have to judge weather based on the whole year. We might not have been there the time we would want to go back.
Right.
We were there in February, which is still summertime. It was a little bit warm. But overall, the weather patterns for Buenos Aires look pretty darn good.
Yeah.
I think the only reason you might not like the weather in Buenos Aires, if you could pick the time of year to go, is if you want really hot beach weather or if you want really cold snow weather. But if you want something in between, you can certainly find it. I think depending on the time of year, the highs range between low 80s and around 60, and the lows range from the 40s to the high 60s. So again,
and this is Fahrenheit.
This is Fahrenheit. I can put the conversions to Celsius on the screen if I remember to do it. But again, very pleasant weather. It does get humid. You don't have quite the same breeze off the Rio Plata that we had in Montevideo, at least based on where we were staying. But overall, I think very nice weather. I don't think we'd go in January or February.
No.
I don't think we'd go in December. But most of the rest of the year would probably suit us. So, you ready for your vote on weather? I think this one's pretty easy.
I think so.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Thumbs up. The next one is healthcare. And again, we didn't use the healthcare too much. We had one experience we talked about in our preliminary video. You can go back and watch that. But they do have a 3-tier health system, and the private system seems like it's pretty good, especially in the big cities, and Buenos Aires certainly counts. So I am pretty sure we could get high quality, affordable healthcare. The healthcare is not as good in some of the other cities we've been to and are going to. But overall, especially in a place like Buenos Aires, I think you're going to get plenty of good health care.
Well, and they had hospitals and emergency rooms and clinics everywhere.
Yeah, it seemed like everywhere we turned around, there was a medical facility of some kind. And I understand you can definitely find English-speaking doctors at some of the private hospitals and clinics. So I think for me, with my pre-existing heart conditions, that's an important thing. And I'm pretty comfortable that I could get the care I needed. So, You ready?
Yep.
Okay, thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
And then the last one is cost of living. Everyone's cost of living and what they can afford is different. We've talked about this before. We're looking for places we could live comfortably for between $6,000 and $6,500 per month, but that includes all of our fixed expenses like health insurance and life insurance and credit card fees and subscriptions and all the other things that just come along in life. And we've got somewhere between $1,500 and $2,000 of fixed expenses. So really what we're looking for is someplace that we're probably spending about $4,500 per month. Our Airbnb was a little over $1,000 for the month. We spent less than $35 a day on food per average for the month. So overall, compared to both Rio de Janeiro and Montevideo, it seemed a lot more affordable.
Yeah.
How did it feel to you?
It felt really affordable. But again, we were there for a month, so we had time to find those less expensive places, the more mom and pop stuff, which we didn't have that opportunity in Rio or Montevideo. So that makes a big difference.
Yeah, because again, you can spend a lot of money on food in Buenos Aires. There are very nice, expensive restaurants, and especially if you're going for international cuisine, chances are you're gonna spend a lot of money. But if you eat the local food and you eat you know, pizza and empanadas and hot dogs and choripan and other simple food.
It's easy
and even steak and potatoes, steak and french fries, you can get very affordable. You just got to watch what you're doing. And for us, it was the first place we've been where I didn't feel like I had to look at the menu carefully and decide, okay, can I get that? Can I not get that?
Yeah.
What's the cheapest thing on the menu?
Right.
So anyway, you ready to vote on cost of living?
Yeah.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up. And is that all? That's all of them. We've got a city that passes all 4 things.
Healthcare, right?
We did healthcare.
Okay.
So 4 for 4, 8 thumbs up, which is the first city we've had now. If you watched our earlier videos, both Rio de Janeiro and Montevideo did not make it through this first phase. They had at least one area that they fell down. Rio primarily weather, but also cost, and Montevideo primarily cost. But Buenos Aires passes all 4 tests, and so we get to move on to the subjective categories, which we will do in just a moment.
If you have gotten anything that's beneficial from any of these videos, please consider liking and subscribing. It doesn't cost you anything and it really helps out our channel. We would appreciate it. Thanks.
Okay, let's move on to our subjective categories now that we've gotten down here by the river. So the first one is walkability and public transportation.
Yeah.
What do you think?
For Buenos Aires, absolutely walkable. No question. We walked everywhere. Public transportation, I'll let you handle that one.
Well, we told our story in the preliminary video in detail, but they've got a very robust bus system. We failed the one time we tried to use it.
And it was all us.
Well, no, it was us and a grumpy bus driver who wouldn't help us. But the trick that we didn't understand at the time was you have to tell the bus driver where you're going because that determines your fare. We didn't know that. He didn't explain it to us in a way we could understand, so we couldn't scan our card and get on the bus. We eventually had to get off. I think we should have tried it again, but the reality is it was so walkable and almost everywhere we went was within walking distance, so we basically walked everywhere we went.
Yeah, everywhere, yeah.
They also have a subway system. We did not use that at all, but I think between the walkability factor and the subway, the only thing is, again, there are some areas that are a little bit sketchy. You probably don't want to walk, so if you're in point A and want to get to point B and they're both safe, there might be a point C in the middle that isn't very safe, so you got to pay attention to that. But there's also very inexpensive Ubers to get around, so I feel ready to talk about walkability and public transportation.
You mean give our numbers?
So we're scoring this 1 to 5. We haven't discussed our scores, so I don't know her scores. She doesn't know mine.
Nope.
So this will all be a surprise as we do this live. So you ready?
Ready.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 5. Look at us, just right in sync, as always.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so the second issue is food culture. And this is both, can we find the things we want to buy in restaurants and at the grocery store? So it's a combination of restaurant availability and variety for what we're looking for and grocery store availability.
Right.
And we did pretty well. We made our homemade tacos. We made homemade pasta with a base sauce.
We didn't do our Thai noodles.
We didn't do Thai noodles there, but I think we could have found the stuff. We found almost everything we were looking for at the grocery store. Chronic to South America, sharp cheddar cheese, which we love, was a problem.
It's a rough one.
We found some things called cheddar, but they were at best kind of like a mild American.
Yeah.
We never found sharp cheddar cheese. The internet tells us it is possible if we find a specialty cheese shop, but we spend an awful lot of time looking and never found any, so we didn't find that. Wine is plentiful and cheap if you like, especially if you like Malbec. It's absolutely fabulous. If you want imported wines from Napa Valley, you're gonna spend an arm and a leg.
You're gonna pay for that.
Vodka was plentiful and cheap. Rum was a little less available, but again, we don't eat fancy. We eat burgers and choripan sandwiches and empanadas and pizza.
Hot dogs,
So it's casual food for us. We don't do big, expensive sit-down restaurants, and that stuff was plentiful and excellent. One of our places we probably went to half a dozen times was called Lo de Raul, and they had empanadas and choripan sandwiches and other things. But we got something different every time we went, and it was always wonderful.
Well, and the other thing I just want to add is you just have to make sure too that where you're going, check if it's cash only. Some of them don't take credit cards.
Yeah, Lo de Raul being one. The other thing is some places will take credit cards, but at a different price point. So be careful of that. And in the restaurants, watch for promotions because one place can seem very expensive looking at the menu. And then if you're not paying attention, they have a great promotion that's like a third of the price for lunch. So look out for those. So are you ready to do food culture? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4 and a half. We're doing halves. Halves we get to do. So I'm doing 4.5 just because there were a few things we couldn't find. We struggled with Chinese food, we struggled with Thai food, and we couldn't find our cheddar cheese and a few other items.
I almost did 4.5, just so you know. I was right there.
So we got 9.5 for food culture. Still pretty good, but not perfect. I'm not sure anywhere will be perfect, but it was pretty darn good. So what's the next item up for bids? Okay, so the next item is available housing.
Yes.
We booked an Airbnb for a month. It was about $1,100, as we've said. It was very nice. When I was looking for stuff, there were tons of things available at all kinds of different price points. Again, I think this is going to be true of most big cities.
I think so.
I mean, there's housing available. The issue is, can you find the neighborhood you want, and can you find it at the price you want? And the answer for us in Buenos Aires was yes.
Yeah. I mean, that wasn't necessarily the case in the other places. It could have been if we picked a different neighborhood maybe, but we certainly picked the right one in Buenos Aires.
Yeah, I would go back to the same neighborhood and the same Airbnb and be very happy. So are you ready to vote on housing?
Yep.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 5. Oh, look at us. We're just in line. So the next one is visas, which is a more technical issue. Again, we're looking for places that can function as a rotating home base, meaning we would go back for about 90 days each year, which means we need an easy visa or no visa where we can just show up and get our passport stamped and stay for 90 days. And that's exactly what happens in Argentina. As U.S. citizens, you don't have to do anything advanced. You just show up, they stamp your passport, and you've got 90 days. So that's perfect for us. If you want longer, they also allow what's called a visa run, which means if you leave the country for a day or two, you can come back and restart your 90-day clock, which some countries don't do. So if you want a little more time, it's pretty easy. You take the ferry over to Colonia del Sacramento in Uruguay for the day, spend one night, enjoy the town, and come back and you get another 90 days. So I think it's about perfect for what we're looking for. Long-term visas are a different story, but that's not our agenda, and we're not qualified to talk about those. So, you ready to vote on visas? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 5. Okay, so then that leaves overall vibe, which is just how the city feels. And I think we probably have a sense from the discussions already that we both really liked Buenos Aires. It just felt comfortable, and some of it I can't really put a finger on.
Me either.
I mean, just from the moment we got there and started wandering around it, I just liked it.
Well, and just wandering around, there was so much to see. I mean, there were so many different things. It wasn't like we're walking to a museum or we're walking to a park. You're just wandering and, oh, look, there's a museum, or, oh, there's an eco park. Everywhere you went, there was something. It was great.
And, you know, there's a corner bakery on this corner and a corner bakery on that corner. So we spent the month trying them. We found one we really liked and went back to time and again. But we also tried a lot of them just to see what they had, and they were all a little different.
A little bit.
And, you know, empanada shops, same thing. They were all over the place. We never went to a bad one. We went to some great ones, some good ones, and some okay ones.
Yeah, nothing wrong with it.
Nothing was bad. And so, again, for the lifestyle we're living, where we're walking around during the day, looking for things, we're not trying to do big touristy things. We're not trying to do expensive things.
No.
We're also not doing the nightlife. Our understanding is Buenos Aires has a great nightlife scene. We weren't really a part of it. That's not what we're doing. Someone in the family, I'm not going to name names because I wouldn't do that, is in bed around 10 o'clock. So that's kind of about where the Argentinians are starting to get geared up for the night.
No, that's where they're starting dinner and then going out.
Yeah, if we went to a traditional Argentine dinner, my wife would fall asleep after the soup course.
I couldn't make it.
But, you know, again, walking around, seeing the stuff, the cost, the vibe, the living, the safety, the weather, it all just kind of felt like home. We were there for a full month, but I was still pretty sad to leave when we left.
I know, I was too. But I was excited for our next place to check it out. But yeah, I didn't really want to go.
So are you ready to vote on Buenos Aires?
I think it's obvious, but
Okay, 1, 2, 3. 4.5 again.
What?
4.5. I've been places I like a little better overall. So I gotta leave a little room to grow. It's like the Olympics. You can't score the first athlete with perfect 10s.
Everybody can have a perfect score.
Because there's nowhere to go from there.
Okay.
But no, it's great. So I think that's 9.5. I didn't add it up. It's got to be pretty close to. It's got to be about 49.
49. Because 49 you did
points.
half twice.
I did half twice. So we'll show all the scores on a summary on the chart. But obviously a very high-scoring city for us. Maybe not for you, but for us. So
I guess that's it. That's everything.
So who would Buenos Aires be for and who wouldn't it be for? I think most people would really enjoy Buenos Aires, either for a visit or a long-term stay. I do think there are some people that might find a better spot.
Your mom?
My mom doesn't want anywhere in Latin America. My mom doesn't really want anywhere outside of the U.S.
That's true.
But leaving that aside, assuming you're willing to travel to other countries for a long-term stay, I think if safety is your absolute utmost concern, Buenos Aires may not be the place. There are definitely safer cities around the world, and there are definitely safer cities in Latin America.
Montevideo?
Montevideo, where we were last, was definitely safer.
Yeah.
Cuenca, Ecuador, where we are now, is definitely safer. So if that is the thing that is absolutely top of mind, it may not be the best place for you. Again, we felt very safe where we were, but there are safer places to go. Weather, I think there's some people that would choose different weather. If you are someone that's a sun worshiper and you're absolutely looking for that hot beach weather, 90 plus degrees, you're not gonna get that much of the year, if any, in Buenos Aires. You're gonna get into the 80s, but a lot of the year it's gonna be in the 60s and 70s, which is what we want, but maybe not what you want. The other thing is, if you like your 4 seasons and you want true winter with snow, you're not gonna get that in Buenos Aires. I think those are maybe the 2 big things. Obviously, if you can't handle Spanish, there is Spanish, but we found a lot of English speakers.
Well, yeah, and you know, there's all the translation apps that you can go on and try to communicate. It just takes longer.
So yeah, we're assuming if you're watching these videos, you're probably willing to be in countries that don't speak your native language and learn a little. I think learning a little bit is important. Stacey knows more than I do, but having a little bit of Spanish, and again, in the big cities like Buenos Aires, there's a fair amount of English spoken.
Yeah.
I think those are the kind of only constraints I would see about Buenos Aires in terms of who might not be a perfect fit for it. But otherwise, I think it's a great fit.
Well, and you also have to like the big city feel, because it's definitely a big city, tall buildings. There's other places in Argentina, I'm sure that's more natural, less tall buildings, more rural areas, but it was really fun.
Yeah, I forget the population of Buenos Aires. I'll put it on the screen along with the population of some of the other cities down here. We've been Rio, Montevideo, we're going to Santiago and Cuenca, Ecuador, all differently sized. And again, you have to pay attention to that because the feel of it is going to be dictated in part by the size of the city. I think that's a great point. Well, that about wraps it up for this video. Thanks for watching. I'm sure you can tell that Buenos Aires is definitely in the running as one of our rotating home bases. It passed the 4 thumbs up, thumbs down categories with flying colors and scored 49 out of 50 on the subjective categories. We absolutely love it. We'll be back, and it's definitely potentially one of our 3-month rotating home bases.
And I think that everybody should visit Buenos Aires. I love it. Just has so much to offer. I just highly recommend it.
So stick around next time when we do something a little bit different. I'm going to talk about the 72 hours that can make or break any trip, which is the 24 hours right before you leave and your first 48 hours on the ground, and some do's and some don'ts that will help that process wherever you go. See you next time.
Bye.